don't have an intro for this show, just lunch. But you know what? I think I need one. I think it'd be kind of cool if I had one. So I'm gonna have to work on that. You have to excuse my voice. I lost my singing voice. I have some bronchitis, so I'm getting over that. But welcome everybody to Just Lunch. Base the Kid is supposed to be joining me today. Hopefully he hasn't stood me up. If he did stand me up, this will be the first time ever in life that I've ever been stood up. But I'll forgive him. I'm sure he has a really good excuse. I know today's his mom's birthday. Um, but I wanted to talk about some things that are coming up very, very soon. And that is the Manny Pacquiao fight. Um, my question is why? Why do we feel like Manny is wanting to come out of retirement after 4 years um, to fight Barrios for this WBC belt? There's been a lot of speculation, like, he ran for president, he didn't get it. He's done some other things politically. Maybe is he running out of money? Is he just one of those boxers, like most boxers, that cannot not be in the ring? Can he just not sit at home and be a husband and a father? And he may be a grandfather now. I don't know. Um, he's what, 46? It's possible he could be a grandfather. But what is it? Why is it that he feels like he has to continue on? Um, so if anyone has any good ideas of what they think, I don't think that he ran out of money. I know that he helped his village. He built some things and he's given money out. We saw the videos where he's passing out money to everyone, and he's an asset in his country. Um, so our first comment from Julius: happy birthday to your mom. Manny needs the money. This is a 20 million payday, $20 million payday, and 46 son debut. That's a good money take. It is a good money take. But the thing that I'm wondering is, did somebody reach out to him, to challenge, Barrios, or was that he, that said that they wanted to was he that reached out and said that he wanted to fight again, you know and how did he just get moved up the rankings like that to be able to even fight for a WBC belt? A lot of political stuff going on, so I'm just wondering, is there something on the back end? How the pal said his money goes far in his country. It does go far, and kudos to him. I just don't want him to get hurt and wonder what it is. He's probably challenging himself. I think he is challenging himself. I mean, it seems as though he's done that since the beginning of his career. He's always challenged himself. Nobody thought that he was going to do the things that he did. Jim Lampley says he remembers the first time that he ever met him. And hello, wheelchair. Hello, wheelchair John. How are you? The first time that he ever met him, and he said that he couldn't even speak a lick of English, and then he was just recently inducted in the Hall of Fame, and he just gave this very eloquent speech. He's come a long way, so I do know that he does like to challenge himself. Julia says, I think he really feels like he can beat Barrios, but I think the last person to know it's over is you. I agree with that. I do believe that he believes that he can beat Barrios. There was a time when Barrios was on top of the world, and now they call him the lesser opposition in that weight class. And I think Manny probably sees something and feels that he can beat him. But then where does he go from there? Like, so he beats him, and then what? Does he just continue on until he can't continue on anymore? Alapal says, I think he'll beat Manny. Manny was elite. He ain't elite no more, but he's still got gas in his tank. I don't think Barrios is elite, so that makes it good enough. Yeah, it's just very interesting to me, all the politics that go into everything, and how people put themselves or are able to get themselves in these positions. And yes, Manny is a very big name. He's iconic. So I know that he has a little bit of pull, but it's just very interesting on the inner workings of the sanctioning bodies. Wheelchair Wheelchair Man John says, I wish that Manny would stay retired. I do too. And I think it has to be a financial thing and also kind of a pride thing. I know there's a lot of old heads that have come back. I mean, Roy Jones Jr. has come back. There have been many that have come out of retirement to fight again. I mean, look, we just saw Mike Tyson make his biggest payday with Jake Paul not too long ago because they're just not ready to hang it up. I think it's more sad than interesting. I wish it wasn't happening. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely one of my favorites. Manny is, and I don't want to see him get hurt. Hopefully, he doesn't get hurt. But then again, like I said, if he wins, what happens? He continues on and he goes through the weight class. Al the Pal, thank you so much for your donation. You're awesome. Thank you so much. It really helps. It really does. Fighters believe that they always have one good left in them. That is so true. And that's what it is. It is. It is. They feel like they have one more, and just they might as well prove to the world. They see some of these younger cats coming on, and they wonder how they're winning and what they're doing, especially right now with these petitions and this new I don't know, new media, calling for rules to be in place for the no running, the no track stars in the ring. We've seen that a couple times, and now it's like everybody feels like everybody's done it. I mean, we can name 2 or 3 fighters, 2 at the top of my head that have been known to be track stars, but all the rest of them, they're fighting, they're boxing. But I think some of these old heads look and see what the new boxers are doing, the younger ones, and they're like, yeah, I definitely could cut the ring, and I definitely could beat these newer guys. So I think that's just where we're at. But my question to y'all is, so Manny wins. Let's say he wins, right? And then so he continues on, through the division, and then what? So he takes all the belts and becomes undisputed. And then what? When does he stop? Does he retire again? And does he come back later on again when he feels like he can beat some of these champs in these weaker weight classes? It's just something that sometimes I lay awake at night thinking about. And speaking of retirement, we know that the Gypsy King has retired again, so they say. But I know he's still a little hurt about his last fight and feeling that he won and it shouldn't have been unanimous. And I just wonder if he's going to come out of retirement too, looking at some of these heavyweights that are coming through. I know that we haven't had an American heavyweight in a long time, and it seems like it's a little we probably won't have one for another few years, but we do have some good prospects coming up. But I just wonder if he just sits back and thinks, man, some of these heavyweights that the United States are putting out there, I could walk all over him. And I just wonder what he's thinking and what he's gonna do. Al Pal said, no, this is just the easy look for him. And then Wheelchair Man John says, that's my question. What's the point of this? And what point do you stop? Yeah, what point do you stop? It's so very true. But so speaking of heavyweights, so Deontay Wilder, I believe he's coming back. Is it this weekend that he fights? And he's fighting someone who was it? Was it Richard Torres? I believe it was Richard Torres that beat him. I'm not for sure. I believe he stopped him. And then his team is trying to work on a 2-fight deal with AJ. So he wants one in Vegas and one in England, and I can see him wanting one in England. I mean, the English fans are like some of the best fans to me in boxing. They're so loyal, and they fill up the stadiums. And I mean, if I was boxing, I'd want to be in England too. But my thing is this: do we even and I might be a little biased, do we even care to see Deontay Wilder back in the ring and then facing AJ? I mean, what are your thoughts on this? Hey, Bruce Gas, because I just really want to know y'all's opinion. I personally am not too excited about Deontay Wilder coming back. I thought that he was done. Again, I have to question his motive. Is it he's looking at some of these fighters today, um, and thinking, you know what, I could beat them if they stand in front of me. I'm gonna throw my right hands, or I'm running out of funds. Like I just really want to know what goes through the minds of these guys. Um, Bruce Gas says the return of the Kong, of the King. Sorry, the King. Return of the King. Yes, return of the King. Some people's King. I like the Gypsy King myself, but it's all good. Yes, the English fans are definitely the best. Um, Gosh, wheelchairman John, I say the same thing. I don't think his heart is in it anymore. I really don't. Like, I don't see that fire. I think that those losses, severe losses, really, really messed him up. And we talk about on my other shows too, um, that the mental part of it is so, so important, and I think mentally he's not there. He got put down really bad by the Gypsy King, who I love. And has he recovered from that, mentally? Um, I'm not taking anything away from him. He went to the Olympics, and he did well. He was on top of the world for a very long time. But when we look back at his resume and the people that he beat, there were some notable names, but those people also stood right in front of him, right in front of his right hand. And that was easy peasy. Let someone stand in front of me, and I'm gonna knock him out too. I'm gonna knock him out too. So I don't know. I just question his talent. Um, yes, I agree with this. The Gypsy King stole his soul. You could make an argument. I do think he stole his soul too, and it's just the thing is that there is money when it comes to AJ. Am I a huge fan of AJ too? Either? No, not really. I mean, I talked about it last night on Women Crushing It Wednesdays. I thought it was just, I made a little joke like maybe Wilder and AJ can do like a dual like cologne commercial or underwear commercial, socks, Um, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. Like they've accomplished great things. What I mean is that they're coming at the end. They're getting older, and I think before they lose all their marbles, they need to like maybe um, I don't know, reinvent themselves and do other things. And if they have a good PR person around them and team, then they can make money in other ways. Because I don't know, I hate to see these guys getting really hurt, especially when they stay after their prime and thinking that they have to prove something, and they don't. They've made their mark. They've done their thing. But I know it's probably ego too. So I get it. I get it. But I'm not excited because then we have Jake Paul, and he's calling some things. He's calling what he's trying to do like the UK invasion. He wants to also fight AJ. He's called him out. He says as soon as AJ gets his elbow fixed, he wants to fight him. So it's like I don't know where Deontay Wilder and Jake Paul are gonna fit in. How they're gonna be fighting over AJ, and fighting in the UK. I don't know how that's gonna work out. I think the man with the bigger bucks, Jake Paul, will probably win out. But we'll see how that plays out. And then after that, he's also mentioned Tommy Fury, so he's definitely wanting to make a sweep in the UK. And then we know that he just recently signed Ellie Scottney and Savannah Marshall, who are from the UK. So he's definitely making his mark. And speaking of that, of him making his mark, we praise Jake Paul for everything that he does in women boxing. Like he's just made such strides for our beautiful, beautiful champions, female champions. Um, but does that but when we look at him as a boxer, do we give him the same respect and do we give him the same praise as we have in what he's doing for women boxing? I just wonder what y'all's thoughts are on that. Aldo Powell might be 50-50, Jake and Chavez. If Silva beat Chavez and he wasn't experienced as Jake, Paul think Jake can win. You know, I'm so worried about Chavez, honestly, because he's already talking about if he loses, he's going to go away for 2 years in hiding and he's going to quit boxing. And I'm thinking, you're already talking about if you lose. That doesn't sound like a confident man to me. If I'm going to face somebody, I'm like, no, when I win, when you lose, you know, what are you going to do? So that just really struck some red flags. And I made a prediction on this fight and on a couple of other shows, and I'm going to do it again. I really believe that Chavez is not going to come out on the stool. We've seen him do it before where he refuses to come out of the corner. He doesn't want to go on, even when he's getting the better of another man. You know, we've heard that Chavez Jr. is very strong, but he lacks heart. He lacks a spine, unfortunately. And the thing is like there's so many immigrants that come over to the United States or wherever to build a better life for their family, and they had to struggle and do so many things like his father did, and then they don't want their children to have to struggle the way that they did or have to sacrifice the way that they did. They want their kids to have a better life, and I think sometimes it's detrimental. I mean, I can understand it as a parent, as a grandmother, but I think that sometimes it really hinders and handicaps the kids, and we can see that he is prime example of being handicapped and being coddled his whole life, and then his father's disappointed because he's not making a name for himself or doing the things that he did, because we always want our kids to be better than we are, right? But I just don't see um, him coming off the stool. I really don't. Alba Powell said Chavez is a silver spoon kid. Exactly my point. It's hard to have a heart and work hard when it was all given to you. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly my point. Like, he has no heart, no spine, no nothing. You know, he's just there. And during his interviews, I was very concerned because he looked like maybe he was on something. Like, I don't know. I don't want to I don't want to speculate or allege, but it just seemed like he wasn't all there, you know. Um, Whoops, let me see. So wheelchairman John, Jake is a marketing genius, but I do not consider him a legitimate boxer. I gave him credit for marketing himself. However, I wish you would fight a legitimate fighter instead of WWE type stuff. The thing is, that you know, it's like what makes a boxer? Because I've been asked this before: is he a legitimate boxer? Well, he goes to the gym. He does go to the gym. He does work out. He does do everything that boxers do. He is registered. He is professional. He's done everything that he had to do. So he is a boxer. Does he have the background that some of these other boxers have? No. Does he have the amateur background? Does he have the pro career background that a lot have? No. He is pretty much just sped everything up to put himself in position. And I wonder, did he put himself in this position so that he could help these women? Or did he think, okay, you know what, I'm here anyway, so now I'm going to help these women? Um, Either way, I love what he's done for the women. I won't discredit him. I would just say, is he the best boxer? No. He says he can beat Canelo. Do I think he can beat Canelo? No. But, you know, I'm still going to say, give him credit for being in the gym and putting in the hard work. So Combat Sports Media says, I think you're spot on. The chin, but he's a mental case. Him losing but not coming off the stool is about right. Well, hello there, darling.
Apologies. Had to walk the
It's
dog,
okay.
and it took longer than I thought.
No worries. I just told them that if you stood me up today, you would be the first man ever in history to stand me up. But
Okay, well,
um,
luckily that ain't happened. You still got your streak.
I still have my streak. Exactly, exactly. So we were just talking about well, I'm going to backtrack a little bit because I want to get some of your thoughts on some things. We were talking about the fight coming up with Manny versus Barrios, and what is uh-oh, someone said my audio is very choppy. How do I
Sounds
sound?
good to me.
It sounds good to you?
Yeah.
Alexander, get a Q-tip. Get a Q-tip and clean out your ears. Maybe that's what it is. Oh, you know what? It might be my ceiling fan. But also I have bronchitis, so I'm a little bit hoarse. So that might be part of it too. But I'm glad it sounds good. But so what are your thoughts? Like, why is Manny coming back? Is he coming back because he needs the money, or is he coming back because he's like, man, I could beat these young cats with one hand tied behind my back?
Well, we all definitely need money, and I think with him and all the campaigns he's been doing, I'm definitely thinking money's a part of it. But
Yeah.
if we check, like, he's not just coming back; he's coming back specifically for one person.
Yes, he
So he
is.
clearly doesn't rate Mario Barrios. Whether he can win that fight or not, like whether Father Time's actually taken its toll on him, is another story. But he definitely believes if I can beat anyone, I can beat you. And that's a damning indictment on not just Mario Barrios, but the actual welterweight division as a whole. That someone
Yeah.
like Manny Pacquiao, as great as he is, can think he can come back after four years out, and being 44 and come back and take a belt from somebody. That's embarrassing.
It is embarrassing. And the thing is like, what does he do after? Okay, let's just say he beats Mario. So what? He just keeps going on and on and on, and then that weight division is just kind of like it's already getting watered down because people are leaving. But I'm just
Well,
saying,
I mean, you're right, but you say that the WBC will allow him to pick every single opponent he wants. He can handpick whoever he knows he's better than, and
yeah,
he'll just reign for a couple years until he retires again.
again, yeah, yeah. It's kind of sad the state that we're in right now, honestly. Because and Manny is one of my all time favorites. Like I'm not taking anything away from him, but I think enough is enough, and I don't like what's going on and what the WBC is doing. I don't agree with what they're doing. And you're like blocking someone else, maybe some other prospect trying to come through, someone else is trying to get their name out there or whatever, and moving things around, to accommodate Manny, which I get it. I get it. I mean, we see it all the time, but I don't like it. I'm not excited about it. Um, but I don't know. I don't know. Yes, I'm still sick. Give me your home remedy, Reginald. Um, so and then we were talking about AJ, we love the UK, by the way. We were just talking about how great the fans are in the UK. We love them, love them. If I was a fighter, I'd want to fight there all the time. Um, but we're talking about AJ. A lot of people, a lot of guys have AJ's name in their mouth. For one, Deontay, and then for the other one, Jake Paul. Deontay said his team is trying to get a 2-fight deal, one a fight in Vegas and a fight in the UK. And then also Jake Paul says, he's gonna have a UK invasion, and as soon as AJ gets his elbow fixed, it's on like Donkey Kong. What say you about this?
The money, man. That's all it is.
He is the money man.
The Deontay Wilder thing is clearly like, look, that's just it's unfinished business, but it's a cash out. It could be a cash out for both of them at that point. The Jake Paul thing is nothing but it's clout. Anytime Jake Paul calls out someone, especially like at this point in time, you just have to take it as he's just making noise, and it's fine because him calling AJ's name gets AJ's name in front of his audience. Now
Mm-hmm.
AJ
Mm-hmm.
probably already is known by his audience, but it
Yes.
doesn't hurt for a couple extra people. But yeah, Jake Paul, every single person he's called out has never has never borne fruit, or the decent people I'm talking about. Obviously, not the Mike
Right.
Tysons and the
Right.
and the people, the small people like Chavez that will come up in weight. But yeah, the others, that's never happened. He called out Canelo. Okay, they said that was a potential; it might happen, but really and truly, like we know how that's going to end. Calling out someone like Javante Davis. again, you say if you're gonna call out someone, it's got to be someone that you got 50, 60 pounds on in weight.
Yeah, yeah. And which is so funny that you mentioned that, because I mean, even Tank was saying that the plan was to accept the fight after he beat Roach. Well, we know how that went. And and I'm thinking, how's that even gonna work? But whatever. They're gonna have to really do some rule changes for that, you know.
Well,
That's
if it's
crazy.
an exhibition, they don't know. He can't be on his record. Like, and
Yeah,
ultimately, it's
that's
too
so
there's too much of a weight disparity, and it's not heavyweight. So
So I think, so the way I'm thinking is, someone just asked, like, how many fights does AJ have left? I think the same. I mean, I think the same. Like, how many does he have left? And so if he has to choose between, like, you know what, Deontay Wilder and Jake Paul, like, what risk is worth the reward in your eyes for AJ?
Wilder, because as much as Wilder is like a spent force, that he's more interested in, okay, look, this is, I need to clean up like my error kind of thing. That's how he's looking at it. So the Wilder fight, he would be like, well, seeing how he's fought against everyone else recently, that's where I need to be. I can get that work, and then I can get to Fury. That's all he really cares about, cleaning out the rest of what he believes is his error, even though ironically both of those are actually the error before him. But
Right,
yeah, but
right.
once he kind of gets through them, there's absolutely nothing else to do apart from either try and get a belt back off of Daniel Dubois or sail off into the sunset. I think he's got maximum 3 fights left.
Yeah, yeah. I'm with you on that. And I was kind of joking about it, but kind of not joking about it. Hey, Joseph, my cousin. I was kind of joking, but I really wasn't joking, because I think that that Wilder and AJ would do better if they get with their team and maybe start, you know, selling cologne or underwear or socks. You know, I think, you know, I know they make a lot of money, you know. Well, I think Deontay is going to have to, like, kind of make his way up. He'll still make the money, but he's nowhere near AJ. Um, but I think, when is enough enough? Like, do you want your brains, you know, when you're 50? Do you want to be able to speak? Um, so I don't know. What are your thoughts? Should they keep going until they just don't want, till they want to stop? Or, and are you
I mean, look,
excited?
I hear you. I'm not a proponent necessarily of telling people when enough is enough, but if you're just asking me, do I want them to stop? I mean, look, Wilder, I want to stop after the Hearden fight, to be
Yeah,
honest. I know
yeah,
if he doesn't win that, then something is critically wrong, as bad as I think he is to begin with. But
yeah,
get that fight and then go. AJ, I feel, has got more in the tank. Yes, he's a bit younger. He hasn't taken as much damage overall, and he's still, you can tell that he's still got his faculties about him. He's still fairly fresh in the mind, mentally, all that sort of stuff. So apart from maybe some of his confidence issues that he might have, he, I think, has got more in the tank. But again, there's still a finite there's that finite moment between, you know, being good and then being taking one too many. So at the age he is now, what, he's 35, I think he's 36 coming up this year, right? Or
yeah,
he's just turned 36. One more year won't kill him. Lennox was 37 when he retired. AJ being 37 won't be too bad, especially as he started after Lennox and those guys. As I said, he hasn't taken a huge amount of damage. He's not slurring his words. He doesn't speak slow. So he's still got enough there that you say he's a bit fresher, whereas Wilder's are kind of all over the place anyway.
yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah, and I look at both of these guys, and I don't know what you think about this, but I think, you know, a lot of, you did mention the confidence. I feel like a lot of the confidence, it has gone from both of these guys, and also just like the mental toughness. You know, there was a time when you just couldn't say anything. Nobody could say anything to them. They wouldn't flinch. They just knew that they were going to win, and they went out there and they did what they had to do. But things have changed, and I don't see that same confidence or mental toughness as we've seen in years past. What are your thoughts on that?
no, I agree. I mean, Wilder's, it looks like he's trying to get back to that mindset, or you see, actually, it's weird. I don't know if he's trying to get back to this killer mindset, or if he's just more bitter than he was when he thought people loved him. Because even then, even when people quote unquote loved him, he was still very bitter and jealous. But now it seems like there's some envy and some anger in there as well. He's
Yeah.
talked about a lot of the money that's been stolen from him or whatever.
Right.
And it's funny for me because I'm looking at it like, all right, so you had $120 million DAZN deal on the table, which you rejected for Fury fights where you didn't make half that money. Now you're talking about people that have stolen money from you, yet AJ was with the white man that was going to milk him for everything he was worth under a slave contract. There's just so many things. It's almost like Wilder was projecting his own situation onto AJ the entire time. And that's what it sounds like.
It does. And honestly, so but with these two guys, like I'm not like super excited to see them back in the ring, but I'm even less excited to see Wilder. Like I've never been a huge fan of Wilder. I haven't, and I've gotten a lot of criticism, but I don't give a shit. I just never saw the skill set. I saw, okay, you stand in front of him, you're gonna get knocked the fuck out. It is, hey, stand in front of me, I might knock you out too. You know what I'm saying? So I've never just been sold, even, and I take nothing away from him. He went to the Olympics. You know, he did great in his career. You know, luckily he did great. But I've just never been so sold on him, and AJ like secondly. But I want to ask you, why do you think that AJ left Texas?
Oh, what you mean with Derek James?
Yeah, what happened?
Personally, I think one of two things. I think he likes to be in control. I think he likes to be a creature of habit and dictate his own schedule. And obviously, being in another country, you can't really do that as much. And I think that maybe the way Derek James trains him or was training him, I think he didn't like the workload. So I think basically it was he didn't want to do the necessary amount of work that Derek James wanted him to do. That's my opinion.
How do you feel about these boxers that jump around to different trainers? I mean, I can understand like there are some necessary changes you have to make at times, but then we see like hoppers, that we call them gym hoppers. What is your feeling about that?
I think it's different for different people. Some people, they have to do it because they get bored easily, and it's the same routines, the same sort of the same drills, the same repetitions, and they can't mentally focus. Some people do it because they need an excuse for why things aren't going right. But then there's some people that I feel like they absorb knowledge really quick, and they get this amount of knowledge, and okay, I've got that from you. Now I need to go and get this from here. And then obviously sometimes they're lucky enough to find that one person that just manages to bring everything that they've learned together, and they just hone it in. But there's some people it works for. For instance, as much as I don't like him, it worked a lot for Tyson Fury.
I love him. I love Tyson.
I know you do, but
come back.
It worked for Fury. It worked for Lennox Lewis. There are people that it works for, going from one place to another. Maybe the frequency, you wouldn't think, oh, it's every couple of fights. That might be a bit excessive. But like Fury had 5 trainers, and only obviously he managed his career and his opponents very carefully for a period of time, but he was successful with those 5 trainers.
Yeah, that's true. You know, it's such a new age right now. I kind of want to touch on it a little bit because, back in the day, boxers didn't have S&C coaches. Now they do. Now it's a must. They didn't have nutritionists. Now they do. It's a must on the top tier level. They only had one coach. Now you have 2 or 3. I mean, look at B&B, Bomac, Bud Crawford. They have 3. Chicken works with myself, my husband, and another coach. There's other boxers, because the thing is that you've got these different set of eyes on you, and these different things that you see, and then you work together, and you have to be on the same team, be on the same channel, same team, and it can work. I think the jumping around and just totally like leaving somebody that probably built you up and gave you all your basics, I don't think that you have to walk away from them. Maybe you just add somebody, just like when you're cooking, you add a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, whatever. I know.
Yeah, but sometimes the food don't come out good. You got to start from scratch.
Hey, I love the UK, but I know y'all don't use too much garlic. Y'all use a lot. Y'all use some salt and pepper, but y'all need a little spice. Just
Wait, no,
saying.
no, 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 no. No. There's a certain demographic of the UK that only use the salt and pepper. Let's
You're
not.
right.
Yeah, this demographic right here, don't do that.
I know that's right. Um, wheelchair man John, isn't it interesting how things change over time? That's why I always say time will tell. Wilder told on himself when he said he turned down more money to fight Tyson Fury. Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. Oh, look, Red Corner Boxing. He said I actually spoke to Deontay briefly on Saturday night on Matt's brunch boxing space. I tried to, it kept going out. Like, I don't know if he was getting phone calls. It was like going in and out. But brunch boxing, bravo to them. They do a great work. What a gentleman. He said he still wants that AJ and never ducked it. That's awesome. That's
He says
awesome.
he still wants the AJ smoke and never
Yeah,
ducked it.
he
Well,
still
that's
wants
a lie. We all saw that he ducked the AJ smoke. Whether he could have
yes,
beat him or not is not
exactly.
the issue at hand. He did duck it. He was offered
He
it
did.
on several occasions, turned it down. He even said there was that interview, if we remember, for the people where they said, "Oh, they say I lost my pen." Yeah, that motherfucker gone. Remember he said that.
Yeah.
Whether he was
Yes,
joking
I
or not, he
remember.
said it.
You're
So
right. You absolutely right. He sure did say that. And then now he wants to make a 2 fight deal with him. Well, yeah, get that money, baby. Get that money.
yeah,
That's what it's all about. And then I was talking about the Jake Paul invasion, as he said. He wants Anthony Joshua, and he wants Tommy Fury, and he signed 2 of your UK girls, Ellie Scottney and Savannah Marshall. He's
yeah.
liking it over there. I don't blame him.
Well, not just enough. I guess technically, even though she's obviously Somali, but Ramla Ali obviously is one of ours
Yeah,
as well. So
right.
yeah,
Absolutely.
he's building a nice little stable. There's a couple others that he's got from over this way. Shout out to Ellie. She lives 5 minutes down the road from me, and that's walking
Nice.
distance, not in the car. Like, but I still
Nice.
can't get her to come on the channel. So Ellie, if you're
Oh,
watching, hurry
what?
up.
Oh my
She
gosh,
hates
that's so.
media. She hates doing any
She
media.
does. Oh,
Yeah,
she
although I
like
think
that.
she might have to start now that she's with MVP.
Thank you, Reginald. Thank you for that recipe. Yeah, I got a little bronchitis over here. A little bronchitis with a little sprinkle of a cold. See, I'm special. I can't just get one sickness. I have to get two. But the show must go on. So I'm hearing that the UK fans are buzzing, and I'm sure you are too, over the possibility of Fury returning. What say you about that?
I've not seen those rumors. I've not seen anyone buzzing about a possibility of Tyson Fury.
I know you're not.
I mean, the thing is, look, there's only one thing I care about if Tyson Fury comes back, and that's the AJ fight. And that's not because I'm not even an AJ fan like that. I don't really care, but that's the unfinished business. That's
Yeah,
the one thing. That's the one part of your quote unquote career legacy where
yeah.
there is a stain if you don't get that work. Whoever wins or whoever loses, the two of them have to fight.
I feel that. I feel you. I feel you on that. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that one either. And speaking of the guys over there, we have Daniel Dubois versus Usyk 2 going down in July.
Hmm.
Man, hey, Dubois said he's ready. He said I might have been stopped in the ninth round of the last fight, but guess what? Not happening this time. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, look, he's supposed to say that. So I love the confidence, but ultimately he was saying the same things before the first fight.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw what happened. He said the same things before the first Joe Joyce fight. He said the same things before the oh, what's his name? Kevin Lorena fight.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know which way. Well, actually, I do know which way I think it's leaning. I'm not obviously won't give predictions just yet. You know that I've got to do basis picks and all that good stuff. But
Yep.
there is also one very crucial thing that we've not seen from Daniel Dubois, and until we are able to see it, it's hard to know if that quote unquote quit gene that he's got in him is truly gone. Daniel
Right.
Dubois has never completed 12 rounds of a fight. The most he's ever done is 10 rounds, and that was against Kevin Johnson, right? Um, any other time, he's either knocked someone out, or he's been stopped, or he's taken a knee, or however we're going to phrase it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
now we know that Usyk was able to make him wilt, make him bend the knee in that ninth round in their first fight.
Mm-hmm.
If the same or similar things is happening in this fight, will Daniel stick to the 10? Will he keep going to the 11 trying to get the knockout? Will he go to the 12 and possibly go on points, or will he capitulate again? He seems to have a certain time in his head that if I haven't got this fight the way I want it by this point in the fight, then maybe things have to, that's when I'm out. And it's always been in and around those same rounds. So that's the one thing I don't know is like, if he can stay the course, there's a chance he might be able to win it late. But if he doesn't stay the course and if he doesn't go those rounds, then that's where I think the issue then becomes.
Yeah. You know, but as far as like the confidence, I love that he's saying these things, these positive things, because then on the other hand, we hear, you know, with the Jake Paul and the junior fight, it's like he's saying if I lose to Jake Paul, then I'm going to go into hiding for 2 years, and not box ever again. So it's like, to me, that's a red flag when you're speaking that way of already losing, you know. And we don't see Daniel doing that. He should be confident. He should be talking about, you know, what he's doing, what he's gonna do. So I do like that.
Well, with Chavez though, I mean, look, because, and obviously I don't know if did he say it in English or Spanish?
That's a good question.
Because I feel like if he said it in English, it might just be a case of the translation, the way he's phrased it may not have been correct. But if, to me, that sounds like him saying, if this guy can beat me, I need to disappear. I think that's almost like him saying, no. There's no chance he can beat me, because like it can't happen. And if it does, God forbid, that means I definitely ain't got no time left. So that to me is how it would sound based on what you've said.
Okay, you know what? Thank you for translating for me. I didn't realize that you were fluent in Spanish too. Thank you for that. I love it. I love it. You know, and we were talking earlier before you came on too about Chavez Jr. And it's like, it's so sad because a lot of immigrants come to the U.S. to find a better life. You know, they've worked so hard and they want better for their kids. And a lot of times it can be detrimental to these kids because they get spoon fed, as people say, and given everything because their parents didn't want them to suffer. And then when it's time for them to do their thing or be better than their parents, because we want our kids to be better than we are, you know, they're not. They're disappointments, you know. And I think that has really messed him up, that he hasn't really had to really work for anything. And he's gonna now, again, he's gonna get this big payday. And what does he really learn at the end of the day? I don't know. My prediction, I said it before you came on, is that he's not even gonna come off the stool. You know, we saw it in the Danny Jacobs fight, you know, where he was actually doing pretty well against Danny Jacobs. I happened to be there in Phoenix, and it was a great fight in the beginning. And then all of a sudden, he doesn't get off the stool. And then we saw all the pictures of those shoes flying. Like, what the hell? I think he's a quitter. What do you think? How's it going to go?
Well, this is one I'm actually quite happy to talk about because I'm not going to be watching it as such. And I don't know. I think if we're talking about just actual skills, he should, and he does have more skills than Jake Paul. But he's very, as you said, he's got issues. Whether they're still there, maybe he's worked on them. You know, look, he did win his last fight. Yes, it was against an MMA guy, 6 rounds. It wasn't great, but I guess that also was someone who was closer to his like natural size. Whereas Jake is a little bit bigger, naturally, younger, more explosive, and obviously has picked this guy for it because Jake's not going to pick anyone he doesn't believe he's got advantages over.
No, he wants names. He wants names on his resume, you know, and he doesn't care if they're, you know, 50 or 80. He wants these big names on his resume. He wants to prove to the world that he is a boxer. And somebody had mentioned, you know, I don't consider him a boxer. Well, he is a boxer. Is he the best boxer? Maybe not. But he does get in the gym. He does train. He is registered. He is a professional fighter. He is a boxer.
Yeah. I agree.
He have the amateur background? No, but he is a boxer. He's a legit boxer.
No, I agree with that. Like if you He's not just a boxer, but in his professional column, he can put boxer. It's not influencer boxer. It's not celebrity
Right.
boxer. It is boxer. He's got a card.
Yes.
He has fought legitimate boxers or legitimate combat artists in under boxing rules. He has a resume. He's on BoxRec. Yes,
Yes,
he's a boxer.
absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. I agree. Before we get out of here, what are some last words that you want to put out into the universe? Oh, wait a minute.
Oh,
We have a bet.
we do.
What is our bet?
So our bet, it was initially for Dina Thorsland to beat Chicken. That was the bet, and it was
Mm-hmm.
in our conversion. It was if I lose that bet, then I send you $65,
Mm-hmm.
and if you lose the bet, you send me £50. So
Mm-hmm.
now that bet has been transferred over to Shanika Johnson, seeing as
Yeah.
she's taken the fight for Chicken, and I have still
Mm-hmm.
maintained that I believe Shanika will now win that fight. This is nothing on Chicken. I love Chicken, great lady, but she's gonna lose. That's the bet.
She's not gonna lose.
All right, well,
You know
you are
what? You
nice
know
little
what?
£50.
We were gonna beat Dina anyway, but with Sugar Neeks, oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
I mean, we're still working hard, but
Just remember, Cash App don't work over here, so you're gonna have to do a proper bank transfer.
I have what is the one that's for overseas? Thank you so
Revolut,
much, Red Corner Boxing. What'd you say?
Revolut, Monzo,
Oh, I did have
Wise.
Revolut. No, I have. Hold on, I'm gonna tell you what I have. It's
Okay.
because I've sent money to like boxers
Or
on.
Remitly as well is a good one.
Hold on.
I'll give you all the international banking transfer apps.
PayPal. Yes, thank you, Red Corner. PayPal.
No, not PayPal, because they take
Why?
commission.
How much commission?
I'll send you some apps that you can download.
Okay, you can send me an app that you can download, or I'll send you because you're going to be
I've
sending
got them
me
on
the
the
money.
phone already. All you gotta do is give me your
Okay,
details if I lose, but I'm not going to.
you're
So
going to lose. You're going to lose, and then also I'm going to have you back on the show, and I'm going to
okay.
have a nice big fat crow for you to eat.
If it happens, you know me. I never duck the smoke. But understand, Christine, when it does happen, you will be on my channel, and there's none of this. No, not 2 o'clock in the morning. Like you're gonna be bright and early, right in the middle of the day, over there, Texas and everywhere else that you be at, admitting that I'm the greatest. That was
No,
right, and your
no.
training just didn't get it done on the
As a
day.
matter of fact, Chicken and I will both be on your show.
That's fine. I want
We'll
both
be
of you on there. I love
heckling.
both of you, but I also
Okay.
love to whoop their ass. So.
Sounds good. You know, it's always a good time. Love you. And I now I know why you love me, because your mom's birthday is today. Happy birthday to mom. We're
Thank
both
you.
cancers. Cancers
Ugh.
are amazing women.
Ugh.
Hey, she raised you and you're all right. So you know what I'm saying?
I hear that.
You have a good evening. Is it supper time? Or is it tea time?
Yeah, there is
Time
supper
for
time.
tea.
No,
Supper,
no, tea is at about 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
Yeah,
Okay, so it's supper. What are you
yeah.
having for supper tonight?
Takeaway as for a treat
Oh
for
my
mom.
goodness. Takeaway. It's not even
Well,
the weekend.
she wanted takeaway. What can I
Oh,
do?
okay. No, you know
Yeah.
what? Whatever she wants, she gets. Okay. Tell her I
Well,
said happy birthday from the US.
we'll do. All
Okay.
right.
Have a great day. Thanks for coming on.
Salute.
Thanks, chat. Love y'all. Love to love you.
Peace.
Peace.